President Biden looks to reassure Democrats worried about his re-election bid. I'm Skyler Henry at the White House as his campaign fends off critics and attempts to bolster support from top lawmakers.
Plus, authorities announced an unidentified homicide victim from 1985 has links to the 4 states. And the Parsons Kansas School District puts out the call for more bus drivers.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
President Biden says he intends to continue his campaign as he takes questions from reporters tonight. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. The president faced a crucial test in his efforts to reverse course after last month's debate sent his re-election efforts into a tailspin. Skyler Henry reports from the White House on the president's hour-long news conference.
President Biden held his first news conference since last month's debate set off a firestorm over his fitness for a second term in the White House.
So there's a long way to go in this campaign. And so I'm just going to keep moving.
After brief remarks, the president took questions from reporters, including CBS News chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes.
Have you spent time thinking about what it would mean for your legacy, which you've worked decades to build, if you stay in the race, despite the concerns that voters say they have, and you lose to someone who you yourself have argued is unfit to return to the Oval Office?
I'm not in this for my legacy. I'm in this to complete the job I started.
Biden was asked about moves to cut the length of his workday in the debate's aftermath.
And if you look at my schedule since I made that stupid mistake in the campaign, in the debate, I mean, my schedule has been full bore. I've done, where's Trump been? Riding around in his golf cart, filling out his scorecard before he hits the ball?
Thursday's high-stakes event marks the end of NATO's Washington summit and his first solo news conference in close to 8 months. At a NATO event earlier today, President Biden verbally stumbled when introducing Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, but he corrected himself.
Ladies and gentlemen, President Putin. President Putin. We're going to beat President Putin. President Zelensky. I'm so focused on beating Putin, we got to worry about it. Anyway.
Behind the scenes, senior campaign advisors met with Senate Democrats, trying to assure them the president can win in November. Skyler Henry, CBS News, the White House.
The president took more than 10 questions, and at one point in the news conference, Biden mistakenly referred to Donald Trump as the vice president. After the event, Jim Hines, the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, posted a statement on social media withdrawing his support for the president. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy now for our first look at the weather.
Well, of course, it was hot. It was humid for us today as we got into the lower 90s, but the humidity creeped up a little bit, so it made it feel a little bit hotter than what it was. Heat indices kind of 95 to 100 degrees. 92 was our official high, started at 70. Average high is 90, so pretty typical for the middle of March. We're still sitting upper 70s to lower 80s across the region. We'll drop back into lower 50s later on tonight. Now, we've had some scattered thunderstorms, especially in our northern counties. They've kind of petered out, but they're going to flare up again. You can already see one getting going just to the northwest of Independence. So we're going to watch these tonight. Hit and miss storms, may get a little thunder and lightning. Most of these will stay under severe limits, but still something we want to keep our eyes on as we go through the overnight hours. Watch how they flare up next few hours after midnight into the morning hours. So a little bit of a wet start on Friday. So we're going to look at this plus the heat coming up here in a bit.
Catch you in a few. The victim in an unsolved California murder from 1985 is now linked to Lamar, Missouri. Authorities have released this sketch of an unidentified woman whose skeletal remains were discovered in Newark, California, back in 1985. They say she had been shot and killed up to a year before. She was between the ages of 25 and 36, was 5'6" to 5'8" tall, and had brown, red, or auburn hair. Now, DNA testing shows the victim was a descendant of a former Lamar, Missouri resident, Marion Marie Helms Thobren Richardson, who was born in Lamar back in 1932. Richardson is now deceased. Investigators say it's likely the victim was placed for adoption as an infant, possibly in the late 1940s. Investigators want to hear from anyone who has information about the adoption or the victim's identity. You can find much more about this case on KOAMnewsnow.com. Crews have begun drilling a secondary water well in Lamar, Missouri. The well is next to the East Water Tower. City officials say the well will allow the city to stop using water from the Lamar City Lake. This second well is going to be 1,200 feet deep. The drilling is part of a larger project by the city.
We have to have a redundant water source to make sure we can provide our customers and our residents. Currently, we still are connected to the city lake, and our goal is to move away from the lake and provide only well water. Going to well provides several benefits. One's water quality, two is water flavor should improve, but also it lowers our treatment cost. It lowers the chemicals we have to put in to treat the water, lowering that cost and improving the water itself.
Construction on a well house will start shortly after the well is drilled. No word on a scheduled completion date. The Parsons, Kansas School District needs school bus drivers, so they held a sort of tryout this evening. Interested residents were able to come out and try their hand at driving a bus in a safe, controlled environment. Officials say this is a way to help remove some of the fear and intimidation that might keep people from applying to become a bus driver.
You get to know kids, and you get to know kids in this community, and there are a lot in need of just love. And then when I became a driver, I was afraid I'd miss out on some of that, but I really haven't. I have kids that have been on my bus for 4 years who give me a hug every day or tell me, "Have a nice day, Miss Amber." Or I have ones that I do meet at Walmart who run up and just hug me, and their parents are like, "Who are you?" And I'm like, "I'm their bus driver." One of my favorite.
The district is looking for part-time drivers at the moment. Kids in Miami, Oklahoma learned fire safety straight from the pros, including Smokey Bear. That's coming up. And a Southeast Kansas fire department gets a financial boost from a nutty source. Firefighters in Miami, Oklahoma hosted a fire safety class for local kids. The fire department brought trucks, firefighters, and fire pup to the library for the event called Adventuring into Fire Safety. The kids got another surprise when the Bureau of Indian Affairs wildfire team showed up with their own equipment and Smokey Bear.
You know, talking to kids about this, promoting this event, there are so many kids that have no idea really about wildfires, wildfire safety, that kind of thing. Nobody knows who Smokey Bear is anymore, that kind of thing. So I'm really excited to teach kids about this today.
The Miami Public Library's next event is going to be a summer Lego League. That's going to be next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Galesburg, Kansas will get some upgraded fire equipment thanks to a $5,000 grant from the Nutella Company. KOIM's Melissa Alexis has more.
And all of this hose back here is hose that will be replaced.
As a firefighter, your gear is one of the most important parts of doing your job. But like many rural volunteer fire departments, this Galesburg, Kansas fire department has not had access to updated equipment.
It was a little disheartening when I got here last year. Our average age of fire apparatus was 42 years old.
John Lilberg, the fire chief, says that the National Fire Protection Association recommends that fire hoses be replaced every 20 years. But some of the hoses at his station have been there as far back as the 70s and 80s.
The fire hose that we're using this grant to replace was from 1947, almost as old as me.
Recently, things are looking up for their department as they've been offered a $5,000 grant from Nutella, a hazelnut spread brand. He says it's a big help considering their insufficient budget.
It's a godsend. We operate on less than $20,000 a year.
They're using the grant money to replace their outdated hoses and hopes to continue updating the equipment little by little in the future through other grants. Next on his list, he hopes to replace 2 old trucks.
It takes a huge weight off my shoulders that we'll have some safer equipment for them to operate with.
The chief is looking forward to being able to serve the community in a more efficient way and growing their department by recruiting more volunteers. Reporting in Galesburg, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Fire chief says his work isn't done yet. He's still working to upgrade the department and has submitted a new grant request to completely remodel the fire station. A little later, a team of 16 bicyclists rolls through Pittsburgh on a cross-country trip to promote awareness of multiple sclerosis.
Plus, it heats up a little bit more over the next few days, but also some thunderstorms. We're going to look at that coming up.
It's July 12th.
Well, it turned out to be a hot Thursday for us today. Temperatures lower 90s and our heat indices kind of 95 to about 100 throughout the afternoon. We've had some scattered thunderstorms, but it looks pretty good out there right now. We will get some additional ones flaring up later on tonight. But a nice shot of our Indigo Sky Casino and Resort just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, every Thursday, the new drought tracker updates, and we still have a pretty good drought once you get out across Kansas, Oklahoma, from Wichita to Oak City, points west. But our area, the four-state area, overall is looking pretty good. Even though we're behind on rainfall, the rain, especially that we got Monday from the remnants of Beryl, really helped out. But still dry across Jasper, Newton County into Berry County. Something we want to watch as we get deeper into the summer months. Temperatures still warm. Most of us upper 70s to mid 80s once you get into our western counties. Let's go outside. Here's 7th and Rangeline 81. Southerly winds at about 10, and those winds are going to pick up just a little bit more as we go through the next couple days. Humidity, dew point 65 to 70, so this has creeped up a little bit. This makes us feel like it's kind of sticky and muggy outside, and that's what we're going to see over the next few days as well. Had scattered thunderstorms. Northern counties have kind of fallen apart over the past hour or two, but you can see a couple little guys, one north of Independence. These are going to flare up a little bit more as we go through the next couple hours and give us scattered thunderstorms through the overnight hours for us tonight. Here's our upper level flow. We're watching this big ridge of high pressure out west. As that builds in, what that will do for us is, of course, heat us up as we go through the next several days. All right, let's go through time. Here's about 1 o'clock in the morning. Scattered thunderstorms from Nowata to Yates Center. Some of these storms could be a little bit stronger. Not anticipating much in the way of severe weather, but a few stronger storms. Kind of pushing east, scattered about. Here's 5:30 in the morning, still flaring up through the morning hours. So it could be a little bit wet to start the day. These will push east, and then hot and humid, high temps, mid 90s during the afternoon. Then we do it again tomorrow night. Complexes drop in, scattered thunderstorms. So we're going to stop Saturday morning. So north of I-44, hit and miss storms to start the day. Then they clear out, hot and humid once again as we get into Saturday afternoon. Hopefully, we'll get a little bit of rain. It'd be nice, of course, because it's going to be dry for the next 5 or 6 days. A few scattered showers in the morning, 72, 88 by noon. High temp at 94 degrees. Heat indices, the way it feels to your skin, up there near 100 to about 105 in our western counties. And then on Saturday, everybody will have a heat index about 100 to about 105. That's just below criteria for a heat advisory, so we're staying just a hair below that. A little breezy for us tomorrow. Look at this. We're going to have southerly winds kind of kicking in, gust 15, 20, upwards of 25. So at least that helps a little bit with the heat across the region. All right, 94 on Friday, 96 Saturday. Hit and miss storms. Pushing 100 on Sunday, 100 on Monday, 101 on Tuesday. Even on Wednesday, still upper 90s. But that cold front's going to head in, and if it holds, we're going to get fantastic temperatures late next week.
Yeah, highs around 80 or low 80s.
I know.
We will take that for sure. Thanks, Doug. 16 cyclists are on a mission to travel across the country, starting in Yorktown, Virginia, headed to San Francisco. The goal is to raise awareness and understanding about multiple sclerosis, and today they stopped in Pittsburgh. That's where KOAM photojournalist Ty Parks caught up with them.
You really get to see America for yourself rather than just hearing about it from rumors or stereotypes or anything like that. So you get the hands-on, authentic experience. Great exercise. Certainly you have a community you're working with, the friends on the team, and then also helping people with MS, which is sort of like a greater, bigger picture of everything. As some people have said, you can't prepare for this. Like, it's on-the-job bicycle training, so to speak, because we start in Yorktown, Virginia, and I think within 4 days we're going over the Appalachian Mountains, and now we just got out of the Ozarks, so it's a tough thing, but you try to, bike as much as you can. Just getting your saddle right is the easiest way to say it, but like your muscles, they're going to hurt the first week no matter what, but you'll be in incredible shape as the trip goes on and just getting stronger and better, and hopefully enjoying the biking more as it goes on. As a cyclist, loved Kansas because it was like so flat. There wasn't anything on the horizon to distract you except, like the water tower every 20, 30 miles. So you just get into like an absolute groove and your mind is gonna go where it's gonna go, and you don't have to worry about turns. And so biking, I really loved Kansas, but you have like the woods of Kentucky and Virginia, the flatlands of Kansas, then you got the Rockies, Utah's its own experience, and Nevada is wild too. And then I grew up outside of San Francisco, so finishing the trip in San Francisco was a wonderful homecoming for me. Yeah, so each person on the team has a minimum fundraiser of about like a little under $6,000, so they can get family together, friends. Some people do like auctions, people can do bake sales, but they're just people who believe in them and believe in the cause. And we've had 2 people on the trip who I think have raised over $13,000 each, and we try to fund, like earlier in the trip we went to the MSAV, which is like a small rural community center in Virginia, and supported their work. And tomorrow in Pittsburgh, we're helping like a few people with MS just do work around the house. So we try to help individuals and bigger organizations with MS with the fundraising.
That group plans to move out of Pittsburgh on Saturday. Since its inception, the group has raised $3.3 million for MS research. Coming up in sports, a local Webb City basketball player commits to a Division I program. Plus, Missouri Southern football hosts a prospect camp. Brock Baldridge is going to have those stories and more up next.
President Trump.
Missouri Southern football is still a month and a half away from kicking off the season. The Lions host hundreds of high school players to their annual prospect camp. Players who participate in the camp range from ages 8th grade to seniors in high school. The camp provides an opportunity for football players in the 4 states to be coached in front of college coaches. And MSSU head coach Atiba Bradley hopes that the kids participating in this year's camp can take home a valuable experience.
We're all about, if they can take one nugget back to their team to make them a better O lineman, D lineman, wide receiver, then we've done our job. Some of these guys, yeah, absolutely, we're recruiting, but primarily we're trying to give them something that they can get better at over the summer. A lot of it is the same things their high school coaches are teaching, but you know how it is. Sometimes when a college coach says it, it's different. Again, just fine-tuning those fundamentals so they're ready for their seasons.
Pitt State Soccer continues to work hard in their inaugural season as a program. This morning, the team announced the addition of 8 new transfers set to join the PSU women's soccer program. Well, here's a look at the newest members of Pitt State Soccer. 4 of the 8 newcomers are transfers from junior college programs. Starting off the list with Macy Clements, Adriana Delgado, Dylan Ehe Gardner, Aviana Gonzalez, Saylor Jensen, Abby Light, Carson Lynch, and Abby Williams. The second half of Pitt State signing class all come from the transfer portal. The Gorillas will compete in their first exhibition match this August. Well, a high school girls basketball player announced on Wednesday that she is headed to the next level. A 6'6" forward out of Webb City will continue her basketball career in the East Coast. Sammy Mancini out of Webb City announced on her social media platforms that she is committed to Providence women's basketball. Mancini spent her sophomore season with the Webb City Cardinals as she was selected to the 2023 first-team All-COC girls basketball team. Then Mancini spent her junior season with Link Academy. She still has 1 more year of eligibility remaining in her high school career. Outlaws meet the Marshals once again, just as they did last night. Joplin has been in a slump, only winning 1 of their last 7 games, and well, the struggles continue tonight as the Marshals win in a blowout. Fort Smith beats Joplin 16-5 in 7 innings. Over to the Mink League tonight, the Nevada Griffins continue their road trip. Nevada led the entire ball game until the 9th inning, but Sedalia, who wins the game by way of a walk-off triple. Griffins lose a tough one, 4-3, the final score there. Well, in Indianapolis, they were picked to host the 2026 Final Four, but not only that, it will also host the 2026 Division II, Division III, and NIT championship games as part of its Final Four weekend. The Division II and Division III title games are scheduled to be April 5th in 2026. It will be held at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, which is the home of the NBA's Indiana Pacers. So it would be interesting to see if Pitt State or even Missouri Southern could make it to the national championship game and maybe play Gainbridge Fieldhouse.
A lot of fans would be hitting the road if
I
that's
think
the
they
case.
would, absolutely.
We'll be right back. You can now visit the Webb City Farmers Market on Thursdays. For the next 3 Thursdays, the market is open from 4 to 7 p.m. It has a lot more than just fresh produce. The market also offers board games, free kids meals, and an opportunity for kids to dig into some fun on the kids' garden. For a $35 fee, you can also learn the art of flower arranging. The Thursday hours run only through August 1st, but the market is open every Tuesday from 4 to 7 p.m. through October 15th, and it's open every Saturday morning year-round. If you haven't checked it out, you really should. It's really a lot of fun and a lot to offer there.
Absolutely.
It's going to get hotter and hotter in the days ahead.
It is. We're slowly going to creep up as we go through the weekend. 94 tomorrow, 96 Saturday. Now, we are going to have some hit and miss storms on both mornings, Friday morning and Saturday morning, and then most of the weekend after that is dry, hot, and humid. So if you are going to be outside, make sure you drink plenty of fluids and sunscreen, of course.
Don't drink the sunscreen, despite what he says.
It doesn't taste very good.
You want to apply that to the outside. Yeah. Final sports note.
Yeah, moments ago, Patrick Mahomes wins the ESPY for Best Male Athlete of the Year. So the legend from White House, Texas continues.
Yeah, no surprise there. Thanks for joining us. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.
Closed captioning on KO